Hello, class. This is Chris. Hey, I wanted to go ahead and shoot a video because I know some of you guys are not able to view the video that I uploaded and it's not showing on Canvas. So what I'm doing is I'm shooting a new video and I'm going to upload it through YouTube, and then I'm going to post a YouTube link. So that should be a little bit more reliable to you. If you still have trouble viewing this video, please let me know. So I wanted to talk to you about um, the small group communication assignment. First things first, this is not a group assignment. I'm not going a group assignment where I'm dividing the class into groups. In my in-person class, I do that, and it's good. But I give students 6 to 8 weeks to complete it, and still, it's the nature of group work that it just sometimes the work is inequitable, where you have some students do more work than others, and it's just ends up being a hard thing to do. And online, in this online environment, it tends to be different because at least in my in-person class, I have students meeting, at one space at one time. Here online, I have students who do their homework Saturdays and Sundays, and then I have students that do their homework, Monday morning. So getting those people to actually meet at a certain time or be able to get through work together, it becomes more challenging. So I changed the assignment significantly for this online format. So for this online format, like I said, no groups. You're just going to do it by yourself. So here's what I want you to do. First things first, identify a group that you belong to. It could be your family, it could be your coworkers, it could be church members, it could be somebody from an athletic team or some hobby that you do. But pick out a group that you belong to, and that's going to be the group you're going to analyze. You're going to analyze your role in it, and you're going to pick somebody in your group, and you're going to look at their communication style as a part of that group. So once you identify that group, the second thing you're going to do is you're going to download and then print out the survey that I've included, right? And so it looks like this. I want you to download and print out 2 copies, one for yourself and one for somebody else. So you're going to select somebody in the group that you selected, and you're going to give them this survey to complete too. Right? If it's a coworker and you know they're going to see the coworker for another 2 or 3 weeks, then you might want to pick somebody or pick a group that you have access to people more readily. So you can pick a family member that you might see. And I apologize, it's my dog. He barks at everything. But you're going to pick somebody from your group, and they're going to fill out the survey. And you guys together at the same time. You can do it first, and they can do it second. I think it might be more beneficial for you to do it first, so you kind of know what to expect. So let's talk about the survey. So the survey, there's a series of statements, right? And they're pairs of statements. So that means 2 statements. And in that pair, you're going to pick the statement that most describes you, or you feel most you agree with. So there's 2 statements. You're not going to pick 2 statements. You're only going to pick 1 statement out of the pair. And there's 40 pairs, right? So, for example, you may not be able to see this because it's so small, but I did the survey myself. The first question in the survey says, or the first statement says, I like action. And I want to drink water periodically. I like action. Or I deal with problems in a systematic way. So out of that pair, the one that I kind of identify with the most is I deal with problems in a systematic way. Okay? So 1 and 2, I only selected 2 because that identifies most to me. All right. The second statement is the second pair is I believe that teams are more effective than individuals, and then the other part of that was I enjoy innovation very much. So that pair of statements, I selected 3, which is that I believe that teams are more effective than individuals. All right. So out of the second pair, I selected 3. Okay. So you're going to go all the way down the list, and you're going to select which statement out of the pair that you most identify with. Now, there could be a set of statements you identify with neither, or you identify with both of them. You're going to pick the statement that you identify with the most. So which one do you like? Okay, these are pretty consistent with what I believe, but I really believe the first thing. Then go with that. All right, hopefully that makes sense. All right, then the second thing you're going to do is this survey actually goes all the way down to the second page to keep going. And then once you complete it, what you're going to do then is you're going to select the numbers on the lines. Okay, and I know this sounds crazy. I'm going to explain this. All right, so here we go. Let me see. There's 4 lines. Or 4 styles. There's action, process, people, and ideas. And each line has different numbers on them. So what you're going to do is you're going to go back to your survey, right? And you can see that it's statements 1 and statement 2. They're paired together. I selected statement 2, right? So I didn't circle statement 1. I circled statement 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this page. And I'm going to find out which line is that 2 on. 2 is not on every line. It's just on one of the lines out of the 4. And that line happens to be on line 2. So 2 is located on process because that, right? And then go back to your survey. And like, for example, I selected 3. So now I got to find which line has 3 on it. Okay. And for this one, style 3 people, that's where line 3 is at. So circle that, all right? And then you're just going to go all the way through your survey and you're going to do that, all right? And then you tally them up, all right? And here's how my tally ended up, all right? So for action, I 6. For process, I got 11. For people style, I got a 19. And for idea, I got a 9. Was that a 9 or a 4? No, it's a 4, okay? So once you tally it up, your tally should come to 40, okay? Because there's 80 statements, but they're divided up into pairs. So you should be selecting 1 out of the pair, so you should be selecting 40. If it comes like more than 40 or less than 40, then you probably did something wrong. You might want to revisit how you answered the questions. Once you do that, and this is the fun part, might be kind of nerdy, but I think this is pretty cool, is you plot your circles. Like I draw the circles first, right? So on action, I think I got a 6. On idea, I got a 4, so I draw a dot there. And then on process, I got a 11, so I put a dot there. And then on people, I got a 19, so I put a dot there. All right? And you draw the lines between the dots, and then you shade inside of them. And this is what my graph looks. This is essentially what my small group communication style looks like. You can see that my style is more geared towards process and even more towards people. So I'm more people oriented and I'm more process oriented. You can see that like idea and action, not really me that much. All right. So once you've shaded that, then go back and start looking at kind of your characteristics. Really look at the one that you scored the highest in, right? Maybe the 1 or 2 areas that you scored the highest in. Go back to page 3 and it tells you a little bit about some of your traits, right? So me, for example, people, I am people oriented. I talk about people. I talk about self-development, needs. I talk about sensitivity, motivation, awareness, teamwork, cooperation, communication, beliefs, feelings, values, team spirit, expectations, understanding, and relations, right? So that's under my camp. Or you might be a little bit different. And then people like me are often spontaneous, empathetic, warm, subjective, emotional, perceptive, and sensitive. All right, so that's kind of me. All right, and also process probably describes me. You can read through that. So, what I would find interesting is to see where you're at, right, and how you should do it. Are you an action person, which is like get it done right now? I don't really care about your feelings. Did you or did you not get this done? All right, if you find yourself kind of saying that in a group or with people, then you might very well be an action person. But do the survey, see how then give the survey to somebody else in your group. All right, and what I would encourage you to do is pick somebody in your group that might have a slightly different communication style, or it's not slightly. I would go for somebody who has completely different. That makes for a richer analysis. So get somebody in your group that has a completely different communication style than you do. Have them complete it. Show them how to shade their results in, and then contrast their styles. Talk about some of the things that their traits, right, on page 3. Lastly, one thing that's important to do is I want you to look at page 5 when you're done. And this talks about how to communicate communicate with people from different styles. So, for example, if you're a people person and you're communicating with somebody who's action oriented, on page 5 is going to tell you, okay, here's some things that you need to do in a small group when you're dealing with somebody who's action oriented. It could be a supervisor, it could be the person you gave the survey with. Okay, so what do? Focus on results first. Uh, State your best recommendation. Be as brief as possible, right to the point. Emphasize the practicality of your ideas and use visual aids. All right. If you're an action person, maybe, and the person you gave the survey to isn't a people person, you might be wondering, like, man, why are they so emotional? Why are they so weird? Why are they so sensitive? Well, okay, well, read how to deal with them first, right? Because that's going to give you some really cool insights. So allow for small talk. I know for a people person like me, I do not like when people get right to the point. Like, all right, let's get down to business, and they don't. That's the first thing they say. Turns me off. Makes me feel uncomfortable. Let's talk about sports or entertainment or music or something, right? Um, and you can actually see that probably behind me, right? You got the Goodfellas poster right here because I love mob movies. Got the Muhammad Ali poster over here because that's I'm a sports person, and then I got way too many guitars than I'd like to admit to. Um, but that's a good lead off for a guy like me, right? And so stress the relationships between your proposal and the people concerned. Show how the idea worked well in the past. Indicate your support from well-respected people, and use an informal writing style. So these are things that you can do to better connect with people-orientated, and it talks about idea and process-orientated people as well. All right. So once you've completed this survey and the person from your group has completed the survey, here's what I want you to do. Let's see, in module, I believe it is module, let me make sure I'm right. In module 10, it gives you the group analysis guidelines, right? So you have your guidelines. When you click on those guidelines, it's going to tell you, like, okay, here's what you need to do. You're going to see the video posted, of course, it's going to be located in there, right? And then it gives you the guidelines, it gives you the survey requirement, and then it gives you the pages in your textbook to read so that you can answer these questions. So I really kind of pinpoint where I want you to look in the book. And then your essay questions are right here, all right? And just answer those questions in more of an essay format, not like A, B, C, D, like more an essay format. And then 250 words minimum. Don't use bullet points, right? You're going to write more like an essay, but you're going to answer these questions. And then please, okay, use Microsoft Word. You're going to type up a Microsoft Word file and you're going to upload it. The reason why is not because I'm discriminating against other things. It's just because if you use another style of Word document or text document, and you upload it, and it's not Word, it drives Canvas crazy. It will turn your essay into a bunch of weird signals and icons. I can't even read it. So Word works the best. I think it does like Google Docs, but I don't want to risk it. Just let's be safe. Just let's do Word. But yeah, so that's kind of the requirement. So it's pretty straightforward. I think you'll enjoy doing the survey. I think you'll learn a little bit about yourself, and I think pairing that with the reading inside of your book will really help you kind of understand what your role in a group is, how you communicate, and how the other person's communication style and their role exists within the group, and how you can manage and deal and work with those styles. And so I find that really good because a few years ago, and I won't keep you too long, but I was teaching my in-person class, and I had this group, and most groups are pretty cool, but I get one group out of the entire semester out of all my classes that's just completely dysfunctional, and there's always somebody ends up crying, and I don't know why. But I had one of those groups. I remember these two students were just butting heads every day. It was a nightmare. I couldn't fathom like why they couldn't work things out. And once I kind of got the survey and started doing it, it just made sense to me. One person was an action-oriented person. Did you or did you not get your part of the assignment done? Why didn't you do it? why aren't you pulling your weight? And then the other person was like, hey, you're hurting my feelings. I'm a person too. Why are you talking to me like that? Why are you, um, you know, why are you causing me to lose face? Um, and I just wish I had that assignment then so that they could understand they're communicating past each other, to pause and to adjust, just make slight adjustments to how they see each other and how they communicate with each other so that they're able to communicate better. Right? And so that's kind of the heart of the assignment. And I hope you find this useful. Like I said, pick any group you want, right? Just make sure you have access to the people in your group so you can give them the survey. Hopefully that makes sense. If you still have questions, let me know. Sorry this video is so long. I try not to make them too long, but it is what it is. All right. Good luck. Have fun with this assignment. Write well, right? Like proofread your work. Make sure there's no typos and crazy stuff. And turn it in. Give it your best shot, and I'll grade them. And I know you guys are going to do great. All right. Take care now. Bye-bye.